Well, hello there, magic monsters. How are you today? How are you this morning, or this afternoon, or this evening, or this past midnight? No matter where you are in the world, how are you? I just got a gift. Shadowbox Icon Studio was just given to me. I haven't gotten to play with it, but I do appreciate this creepy monster link that goes to the bats. It's a tool that appears to create 2D icons for 3D objects in an easy to use fashion. As NME61 says in this review, this tool saved me so much time. Rather than generic weapons icons from packs, now icons come from the weapons in the games, which makes sense from a prototyping standpoint. Getting icon packs from the asset store makes a lot of sense as well, because you just want something to work with. But if you can spend a few minutes and create icons that match the stuff in the game, then when you're at that point, or when you're at the very beginning and that's what you prefer, that makes a lot of sense too. So I'll have to check this out. I have not downloaded it yet. I was playing with code yesterday. I was talking to a kind person on the Discord who has been using game modules, the V3.5 version, the current version that's live, and he was talking about his desire to have basically enum things. So I just scripted this out. I was thinking, okay, I already create code automatically. I create the properties code automatically with the game modules, and that's why this is here, because I was copying the properties code, which is automatically generated. And so I was thinking, well, we could have an enums as well. And this was just, I was just typing this out just to see how it would work. Quality, broken, etc. And but I think in the process, my testing, see, you can test it, so you can see that you just go enums quality broken. I can delete that now. I don't actually need that. But in the process of all this, I realized, where is it? As I was coding all this stuff on populating enums, I realized, wait a minute, we can already kind of do this. So I had to create a contains name method on the attribute list. So the item attribute list now has all these other contains, but now it has a contains name, which is very similar to the contains type, where it just looks for the first one of that name and returns true if it finds one. So actually looks for any that have that name. So if you have a game item object list on game objects, they exist naturally automatically. So now there's a is and is not. And the concept here being, if you've got a type of attribute where you can have multiple types, like, I don't know, off the top of my head, I can't really think of one. But you can imagine, all right, qualities, like, God, even that wouldn't yeah, it's pretty much anything that you can think of. You can say, is it gold? Well, it's a gold watch versus silver watch. Is gold? True, if it contains the gold attribute in the attribute list. Is it rarity was one of and quality was one of those. So you could have none, so no quality, so it would return false. If it contains quality broken, true, otherwise false. You could do many things with this. So you could say, if it is not broken, then do something. You would have to check for none, for no quality, because in this example there would be no. You probably wouldn't have a none item attribute. That wouldn't. So it would be these ones. And if it's none of those, then you'd have to do that. So you'd have to also say has quality. Should we add that? Do I have that already? Has attribute. Has. So is attribute contains UID. This is an is as well. Interesting. Let me think, because we want. Where are my uses of has? Has key value, has key value, has attribute, just Oh, there's only 4. I thought there were 15. Okay, so I think we can't say is because this is a UID and we're not passing a human readable name, so that would be confusing. But what we can do has attribute. I want a has, so you can be like has quality. So I think has attribute is fine, but we can add a new one that is has, just straight up has, with a string object type. And and we're going to change this. It's not going to be contains. Contains type. Yeah, contains type. That's what we already have that. Contains type. So if any of the types are of that, then it will return true. There we go. So now you'd be able to say has quality and yep. And so now we should do. I'm going to move these. Find is. These live up here more appropriately. So now we're going to say one other one, because you might want to return. You can check if it has it and if it's true, but you might want to do that in one call. So what would that be? Has and is, or just has or is. Yeah, I think is. Let's see. What if we did string object type equals null? So this is going to, whoops. And then we will say if object or string dot is null or white space object type, then we will simply return that. Otherwise, we will return. Actually, let's flip this around. If it's not null, then we will. If it's not null and has object type, then return that. Otherwise, or if it's null, we'll return that. All right, if string dot is null or white space object type equals null, or yeah. All right, so otherwise we're going to return false. So this can be cleaned up. What we're really saying here is, just speaking out loud, is if the object type is null, then just return whether it contains the name or not. If the object type is not null and we have that type, then return whether it contains that name. Otherwise, return false. Because if we don't have that type and we're asking for that type, item attribute type. We don't want to hide the other field. Yeah, because if we don't have it and we're looking for it, then we're just going to return false. So we can say if we don't have the attribute type and or if it's not empty and contains that. Yeah, that'll work. All right, so now this method can do two things. It can be just used to just know, does it have a type? Like, let's say the type is gold or fire elemental or something like that, or something like that. But if it's something like rarity or quality, where maybe there's a chance it doesn't even have the quality at all. And actually, the better example would be the elemental. Let's say you've got something here, and you're like elemental, and so you got fire element, ice element. Okay, fine. We'll just say fire, ice, earth, air, whatever. And then maybe most things don't have one of those, so you'll say is fire. And elemental here, and then it will return, well, it would return null if you had that. So what's the use case here? Did I just make something that's pointless? I don't think I did. What was the use case? Why did I start doing it? The use case for this is saying sometimes you're looking for a value, like common, unique, rare, epic, is unique. And you really want this none value. It doesn't even have a rarity. So you can use has to find out if it has rarity, but that doesn't tell you if it's one of these rarities. So it's going to tell you is. First, we'll tell you, yeah, if it has rarity at all, and then if it is that specific rarity. If it doesn't have that rarity, then if you didn't specify it, would still return whether it has it or not. So, I don't know, maybe there's a use case. I think there was. I think like 5 minutes ago, there was a use case in my head. But maybe not now. I don't know. But while I was just talking just now, I stuttered for a bit because I thought of another potential use case. Returning the value. So let's say you want it to be rarity and you want to return the string, the object name essentially of that thing. You could say is type or type name, type value. What would it be? Would it be type name or type value? So I'll talk through. I'll type it out and we can refactor it. It's gonna be a public string. We're gonna say type name for now, and we're gonna bring in string value or object. We gotta do it like this. Item attribute type. Because we can't use object type. The game item object has object type already, so we can't use that here. It would overwrite that, and we don't want to do that. That would be a big mistake. Hello, Shadow. Oh my God. Hello. Yeah. Yep, that's exactly what I'm thinking. What we need is to be able to say, is this... Like, just give me the rarity. And, you know, default, string, this is actually string default equals, no value equals, no value, result equals none. So, what we're going to do here is say... We're using rarity as the example just in my brain. We're going to say well, on the attribute list we got contains name, count type contains type, count unique. First you get by type. This is the one we need. We need just the first one because something like rarity you're not supposed to have. Oh my god, I'm on my second cup. It's halfway down already, and I've got a little bottle full of more right there. Yeah, drink it before it gets cold. So you're not going to have both common and rare. That's the intent, right? Holy snakes. Yeah, you're not going to have both common and rare. So this get by type is probably the right way because it's going to return the first. If you've got two, that's on you, right? That's going to be completely on you. So what we're going to do is say var result equals where is it? Attribute list dot get by type, and type in attribute type, and then return result dot object name. And that's going to be the object name is going to be common, unique, whatever you name your item object. So obviously this can be changed because we need to know what happens if this is null. So what we're really going to do here is say return if that equals null. Then we're going to return the no value result. Otherwise, we'll return the result dot. Whoops. We do need to cache it. Shoot. All right. If result equals null. So what? Fuck. I mean, darn. Return result equals null. No value result. Otherwise, result dot object name. All right. Now we can make this a little better by doing try get, and I think I might actually have that. I try get. Try get. Object type, try get by type. Boom. Boom. So we'll do this instead. We'll say if no attribute list dot try get by type, item attribute type, out var result, and a comma. If we have no result, then return no value result. Otherwise, return result dot object name. Now, that means we can make this smaller by returning it there. We're doing that, and then we can do this, which, if you know me, you know that this has become one of my most favorite things to do. So there we go. Now we've got essentially one line. I've broken down into 3 lines, but essentially one line for type name. Now the question is type name the right thing for this? If you were using this system where you said, is there a way to know if it's a certain, what type it is of this type? I know it has a type of rarity. Can I get out of it which rarity it is? Is type name? I don't think type name's the right language for that. Is type? No. That would imply a bool, I think. Name of type. Type of type. Type of type. Hello, Oliver. Hello, Tech Dave. The keyword is I do not think fits for this thing. So I'm doing something that's very similar. That is what I'm doing. Basically saying, Tech Dave, get type name. Get type name. Yeah, get type name. Does that make sense? Get type name, item attribute type. But that's not really the type name. The type name would be rarity. We need the type value name. And then I think value name of so it's like you would literally say if value name of rarity equals, well, you'd use the is up there. So you do if is common, do common code stuff here, and then debug.log value name of rarity like that, something like that. So you know, and then really you could do a thing, public void print type values or whatever, and then string type name, and then you could do debug.log type name, type name, and then value name of type name, and get the same result as this. So now you would just say print type names rarity like that. Print type values, why is that not? Oh, it's a string, so return this instead. Yeah. Mother return to sender. All right, there you go. So you can do something like that. Hello, Keicho. How are you? Get item type. Problem is, it's not a item type. Kind of. I guess it's, in a way it is in this context, isn't it? Can't be get item rarity. That would be something that you would have to code yourself if you want to be specific, because it could be rarity, it could be elemental, it could be anything at all. It's any attribute in any attribute type, which in a sci-fi game might be is alien, is Terran, is Protoss, something like that. Yeah, so there's multiple ways to use this, I think. But Tech Dave, to your question, the is something like this. So let's say that you have a bunch of types of rarity item. These would not be an enum, by the way. So if you missed that earlier, this is going away. This was my result of playing around with the idea of enums and all that. So now you would just say is common, and it would return true if it has the item attribute common in the item attribute list. And then the has attribute is just returns true if it has any rarity. And then is, if you add the rarity here, it will only return true if it has both the rarity and the value you put in there. And if it doesn't have rarity at all, it will return false, which is also the case if it doesn't have it at all. So that's where I'm like, did I just make something that's pointless? I may have, but cross that bridge later. All right, so that's what I wanted to do because someone in the Discord was asking, and it piqued my interest, and I'm going to delete this now because I don't need that. And we're going to delete this enum script here as well. Why is this underlined? Nope, that's fine. All right. Enums going away. I also yesterday moved the properties into this generated scripts folder because I was like, if I'm going to have enums and properties and this new object reference, which is new in v4, then I need a special folder just for all that stuff. Okay. So that was that. There is one other thing I want to add. And so I said in the description, and I said that I want to finish the party-based RPG demo, but I also want to add this other feature that the nice fellow on the Discord, I can't remember his name, his Discord name. It is ArteDMPC or ArtDMPC. I'm not sure which. But he was asking, he does a lot of scripting stuff, and he has his own preference on how the scripting is handled, I guess, for lack of a better word. And so he's been asking various questions. And one of the things that he's requested a couple times, and I think it's a very good use case, is the idea that item objects can have starring item attributes. So if we look at, in particular, this weapon, where's the Master Sword? Master Sword. So in this demo, in the party-based RPG demo, there's a quest item called Master Sword. And the only reason it's there is because I want to demonstrate this quest item toggle that, if true, the inventory system won't let you throw it away, or it's an optional thing. You can set it, you can change it, but essentially it keeps the inventory system, if you're using that system, from removing items. And I think it also is similar with the game. Yeah, the game item object list wouldn't allow it to be removed if it's toggled on, unless that list is marked to have it allow removal, or if in the removal method you override the bool and say, yeah, force removal. So like, you could say, give the quest item to the player. They can't remove it under normal circumstances, but when you're talking to whatever point, or where at the point of the game where they actually do something with the quest item, then you can force it to be removed on your own with your own code. Anyways, so I've got this thing here, and one of the confusion, maybe I need to update this this guidance here, but this item attributes is item attributes it can hold. So the Master Sword can't hold any item attributes, whereas, well, this one's not set up, but whereas the long spear can now hold any of these prefixes and suffixes. And there we go. I'm glad that works. And so we can paste these values in here. So all these weapons can now hold all of these prefixes and suffixes. It doesn't mean that they are those things, right? It means that in the game, a small axe can be an icy small axe of fire. It can be a power axe. It can be a axe of theft. But it is not any of those things by default. By default, it's just a small axe. So these are potentials. And I think the addition is the idea that, Master Sword, maybe instead of maybe we need master to be a prefix. But then that defeats the purpose. Well, okay. If master was a prefix, like magic, right now it would be, if I had magic, it would be magic master sword. But if I just change this to sword or short sword, that would be a problem because each object can only have one thing. So it's almost like a prefab variant situation where we want a prefab master sword to be a variant of short sword or of sword. So if we create a new item object called just sword, and we say item attributes, it's got all those things. It can't be master. So just as a prefix, we're going to create a new just to test this out, because I think this is an interesting problem to solve here now. Master. Or really, let's think. If the sword itself, if Master Sword is a variant of sword, that means it technically could have all of those. So it's probably easier just to say it can't be any of those. It is its own thing. But if you wanted to add rarities or something, right? So to extend the example we were just looking, rarity, we could have different rarities like create game modules, create item object, item attribute rather, common, and duplicate, and we'll do rare and epic or whatever, or legendary, whatever. You know what I mean. So we have those. We'll use the name common. We'll use the name legendary, rare, and the name order is going to be -1, we'll say, for now. So if we do have it in front of you got the English language description here. If we have it in front of the sword, it would be the common sword, legendary sword. But we might not. Yeah, I guess we won't even use the name at all for these, because in this case, we're not going to say the common sword of fire, legendary sword of fire. We're going to be using, so we don't want a name, a human name. Leave blank if you don't want to be included in the full name. Good, that's nice. All right, so we don't want to include in the full name, so we'll leave blank. And then the stat effects is well, this is another thing I wanted to add. What output template do you use when exporting textures from Substance Painter? That is not a question I can answer with words. Let's see. Cube. Let's look at the gelatinous cube. I think I might have to export the template for you, Oliver, but I'm not sure. This is, by the way, new textures for the gelatinous cube and sphere. Now it's a furry cube. A little perverted of a cube, but it's a furry cube nonetheless. But it's many other things too. It doesn't have to be a furry cube. It can be a bloody cube. And when it moves in jelly fashion, it looks like a disgusting cake, in my opinion. It can be a metallic cube. Can be all sorts of cubes, including a very basic cube and a very basic cube with texture and a very basic cube with a stone texture. Anyways, when we export textures, I use this Unity Metal AO Height Rough, and let's see, output templates. You can see I've gone through many iterations. This is the actual settings, Oliver. So if you want to take a screenshot of that, now's the time to do it. In the mask map here, it's going to be roughness, or I'm sorry, metallic, AO, height, and glossiness. I think that's the setting. The glossiness here is the setting that gets us the right output in the map, but I don't know if it has to be inverted for Unreal. It might have to be. Yep. So that's the setup. And emissive, I just delete after I here's the naming convention, by the way, but most of the emissive ones are black. There's only a couple in this hierarchy here, the layer stack, that have emission value. So most of them I just delete. Yep. So that's that. Hopefully that solves the problem. Don't save. All right. So there was two things I wanted to add to the item objects. One was default attributes. which I think is easy enough. And then I think in the context of Master Sword, I think keeping it as Master Sword is the way to go, to not make object variants. I think that's not needed, is my guess. And the other thing was, oh yes, the other thing was the idea that attributes could affect the item rather than the person holding the item. And this is an interesting one. Right now, let me delete master real quick so we don't get confusion. Right now, some of these, so all of these should have stat effects. I think I just haven't set it up for all of these or any of these. Maybe, let's see, of ultimate power. No, I didn't set up any of these stat effects. I thought I did. I thought I set up some of them. I'll need to make sure they're not being deleted. But so if we say of fire, that brings up another thing. Like if it's of fire, do I want to force it to have another attribute that's required? And I think the answer is probably yes. So that if it's a fire, it's also an element of fire. But all right. So let's do a few things here, and let me write these down because I'm gonna forget. Actually, let me cancel quit, save and quit. Let me do something over here. New docs, Google Docs. New document. All right. So notes. We need to add. Default attributes, and then we need to add attributes optionally affect the object, not the actor, and then required attributes, i.e. of fire, requires fire element. And optionally remove others of that type when added. So the idea would be that if the object is of fire and it requires fire element will also be added. You could add fire element without adding a fire, but if you add a fire, you also need fire element, and then optionally remove other things, because if you're going to be of fire, of ice, you can't be both fire and ice. And while you could check is of fire, is of ice, that's great, but you might have a prefix called icy and flaming, which also make those things. So, which makes me think that you can't have an icy something of fire. Or can you? Can you have an icy sword of fire? Does that make any sense? I mean, I guess in your world it might. So that would mean there's another option that says, hey, if it's icy, it can't be of fire. That's an optional thing, because I think in your world, maybe an icy sword of fire makes sense. Maybe an icy laser blaster of fire makes sense. Maybe it doesn't in my world, but it does in yours. So let me make that as an option again. Optional. What would be the term? Keep if one attribute can't have another, i.e. can't have icy thing of fire. All right, so first one, let's just do default attributes first. I think that's going to be the easiest one to accomplish. And we will do this by looking at our Master Sword, because I know we get the Master Sword at a very specific point in this demo game, so it makes sense to use that. So our Master Sword, it has 0 attribute types, 0 possible attributes. We're going to allow it to have 1. And we're going to force it to have that 1. So there's a couple things I want to do here. I want to also make sure that when you add the attribute, then it gets turned on here, because that will be required. Otherwise, the system will go poo and blow up. Not blow up, but all right. So we got the stat effects there. Good. All right. Let's start with that. So we're gonna go to our, I don't know, what is it? Close all tabs. Oh man. Item attribute drawer, I think. Drawer editor. Drawer, not drawer. Drawer. Although every time I ask the question, people still have a debate over which is it. Is it a drawer or a drawer? I think it's a drawer. I can't imagine it's not a drawer, but maybe I'm wrong. All right, weapons, master sword. So we're gonna look for possible. There you go. So possible attributes. That's here. Not all items may be able to use the same attributes. So in this one, I want to update this to be allowed item attributes to make that more clear. That these are the item attributes that are allowed. I also then, not all. Oh, do we not have? Not all. We don't have. Wait a minute. Not all. Where is this being spat out then? Show item attribute structure. Allowed. Show item attribute header. Start vertical box. Oh, interesting. This happens somewhere else. So this message box is going to be moved. It's going to be moved here. I want this to be under there. Underneath the possible attributes. All right, so that's the end of the header. Good. And then we're going to do show the message box. Object name, and all right. So this should move this box down there. We're probably going to need a space here to just make it nice and more appealing. And it didn't update that second change. Yeah. But you know what also draws? The code draws something to a screen. That's the thing. It's a drawer. It's drawing this to the screen. It's very confusing. It's very the real problem is the English language. That's the problem. I think we can all agree on that. All right, so now allowed item attributes are going to be here, and it's explained right there. And now we're going to have a new one for underneath this for. Now, why is this in a drawer anyways? Was it just me learning a new thing, or was there a purpose? Item attribute drawer. Because this only affects item objects. So you can see every single one here is an item object. Anyways, I guess it's fine to include it in this same structure here. Draw. See? Draw. Drawer. It's a drawer. I know it is. It's you know, I feel very lucky that English is my first language. I think there's a massive advantage in this world for having knowing English. Although there's also a massive advantage in knowing multiple languages. And as an English speaker is my first language, I know no other language. So dryer. That's not completely true. I actually know a little bit of Spanish. Habla poquito español. I'm not good at it, and I know very, very little of it. Mostly I know how to speak little Spanish. All right. So we're doing the draw here. So I'm going to move this into its own little thing. We're going to say private void draw of allowed attributes, just to keep it clean. So that's going to be this entire box. And I guess we're going to have to pass in the item object. And update that. Okay. And then, what do we use this for? It draws the item window for the entire structure with a different view. Why is this? Editor window quest object show item objects. Oh wait, let me look at that real quick, because maybe I need to understand what I'm doing here. Item object and quest object both show item objects in the structure. Manage item availability for all item. Oh, this is in this view. Okay, I see. Yeah, I might need to refactor this view at some point. I don't know, for people who do use this modules, how many people use this view to manage them all. But you can look at, item objects, weapons, objects, shields have this structure, and you can remove and add to all. But in some cases they might, you might not have all. But anyway, so that's what that structure is doing. It's saying, yeah, see, active in 5 of this type. So if I want all weapons to have that prefix, I'd say add, but I don't want all weapons to have that prefix. And I think there's going to be many cases where you don't want that. So you might need to have a list that shows them all. I don't know. I need to refactor that, I think. But okay, so that's where that structure thing is coming from. That makes more sense now. All right. And that means we can add the code I was about to add in this structure. Yep. Draw available. That's wrong. Script. Draw available or allowed. All right. So after the draw allowed, we're going to say draw default starting attributes for the item object. And we're going to do something very similar. So I'm just going to copy all this, and we're going to say show header starting attributes, and we'll say these attributes will be added automatically whenever a game item object of this type is created out of this item object. Note, I believe there will be no way to stop that. Often this can be useful for descriptive attributes such as rarity or what would you call if it's broken, new, used, damaged? Is that quality, maybe? Quality. Rather than modification attributes. But that's up to you. I'll just remove that part, actually, because some of these might modify it too. So that could be confusing. All right, so we're going to have that. Then we're going to show, we're going to do something else here. And we're going to say show header starting attributes, and we're going to copy the other one. So show header starting attributes. All right. Starting item attributes. So yes, we can do a copy paste here. Paste will be different though. So we're gonna have to redo this. Debug.log redo. Because we're not going to be pasting this information, we're pasting other information, but I don't have that information structured out yet. And then this is redundant because you're going to be easily able to see the things, where in this one is not so clean cut, especially if you're going to have done tons of different attribute types. Oh, there was another thing I thought of when I was going to bed last night. The actor should have a item attribute list rather than a class and race thing. So this is really a thing for the demo. Actor should have a list of attributes rather than a single attribute for race, class, etc. I may have already done that, but I wanted to make sure that we could do things like if the actor is half orc, if the actor is knight, stuff like that. That's important. Because it's not just anything can have an item object list. You could have a wall that says is brick, is metal, you know. You could have a food. Well, that would be an item object, but yeah. So anyways, you could it's any object that you create, you could add a game item object list to it, and with that have all the advantages of being able to describe it using item attributes. Yep. All right. So starting item attributes. Copy paste. Okay. So the next step is just going to be essentially a list of item attributes. So what we need is to go to file item object, and somewhere in here, public list item attribute starting item attributes, new list item attribute will be added whenever a game item object is made from this. And we can throw this right here. So you can, I misspelled starting. You can see that we have a list of the item attributes. These are the active ones. These are the starting ones, and so on. And then on our game item object, we're going to have the game item object right here, the constructor. This is where we're going to add those. So we're going to do a private, well, we can make it public void add starting attributes, and pass in our item object parent. Or we don't even do that. We can do I don't know. Will parent be set? If I call that here, look at that. I've got this twice. I don't think I need it twice. If I call this in here, will it know the parent already? I don't know. And then game item object. You know what? I'm just going to do it in the constructor itself. Starting stats. So for each var starting attribute. Attributes. For each starting attribute in parent.starting item attributes, we're going to say attribute or gain attribute. What is the gain? I thought it was gain or something. Get owner can use remove. Is it just, oh, it's add, I guess. Okay. Add attribute, and we're going to do starting attribute dot uid. Distinct, true, and recompute human name. Yeah, true. So I guess we'll just do that. Yep. So that should do the starting attribute now. Going forward. My posture. I just realized I was like sitting kind of sideways, and my leg was crossed, and my neck was crinked, and my neck started hurting. So I need to fix that and not sit like that. All right, that's better. All right, so that should start the. So that does that part. I haven't done the editor part, but I think we've done all the plumbing, not plumbing, the logic for adding it. And now we just need to add things to this list, basically. All right. So we're going to redo the copy paste. So that's the header. We're not doing that at all. All right, and then we're going to do the message box and then show starting stats or attributes. I keep saying that. Item object, and we're going to do show add starting attribute item object. Create both of these. Hey, clicky clicky. All right, so we're going to do the add first, and this is going to be, we're going to start with by saying background color is color.yellow. Generally, whenever there's a button you can push or something like that, I color it yellow. Background color actually we can just say reset color. And then here we're going to do start row and end row. And in the middle of the row, we're going to do a label. Do we want a drop-down list, or do we want a open field? I think an open field makes sense. So we're going to do label. Why is this like this? Did it add starting attribute? And then we're going to do a object field. So var new attribute equals object field, not factory field. And this is going to be, what's it going to have in it? Or is it just object? It's just object for me. What's our parameters? Give me my parameters. It's not telling me. Null. Type of item attribute. False. No seen item objects. Okay. And then if new attribute is not equal to null, then we're going to add it. And so if and item object dot starting dot contains, nope, starting dot contains new attribute. So if it that and it doesn't contain it, then we will add it. So item object dot starting starting dot add new attribute. As item attribute, cast that. That should work. Let's see. And then while we're here, we're just going to quickly make this list printed out. So just for each var attribute in item object dot starting item attributes, we'll just say label. Label for now, temporarily. Attribute dot object name. All right, just so we can see something happen, and then we'll add the delete button and other random junk like that. We need to make the this always. I wish that there was a way to make this layout nicer. I don't know. I don't like the default layout, but maybe that's just me. And we're also going to make a box because we need the whole thing to be a box. So start vertical box and end vertical box. And this is going to be a total of, say, 150. And then this is going to be a total of 150 as well. Let's see how that looks. Okay, so add starting attribute. We can add power. Let's get out where. Oh, interesting. That's weird. It's not letting us do this. How about then we do new attribute equals null. What if we do that? Because I would have expected it's going to be null every frame. It's not working as I wanted. It should be like this. When you do the dictionaries, that works like that. Like if I do a item attribute here, see that? You can just add all you to your heart's content. So why is that working here and not there? Let's see. Let's see how I do it there. See if I do it differently. Dictionary draw or editor. Add. We're looking for that. So this might not be there. Show add list type. No. That's this down here. We have another add. Oh, no, we don't. Okay, I see. What? It looks like I have a misspelling or a typo. Count, objects, key value list type name. Why is that? Oh, it says item attribute, but it's a width of 80. I think this is a debug that I just never removed. Okay, 0 objects. So this is where it is. Show add new value. In this one, it's a little bit more complicated because we have all these different value types. But the end result is we are background color yellow. Right here. New object equals null. If it's that, the new object is object null type of field width. And then if new object is not null, then do that. Interesting that it's working differently. That is that because that isn't this. That makes sense. Checks out. It seems to be essentially the same logic. It's just new object equals an object, and if it's not null, then add it, and then the next frame do something else. So the only thing I can think of is we are checking this. So what we can do here is say if it doesn't contain it, then we can add it. And we'll just move that out of the button or the if right here. See if that changes anything, because the logic seems to me to be the same. All right, let's see. Nope. Interesting. Interesting. What if we just get rid of that line entirely and we allow duplicates? Nope, 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 nope. I do not know why it's acting differently. If new object, attribute, new attribute, no, it's literally the same thing, right? Am I missing something here? It's this and that. So object is that. Maybe I need to specify outside. I do that though. No, I don't. Okay. What if we do that? Oh, I see. Maybe, yeah, because I never actually set as null first. Okay. That could be it. Why is this now? Okay, item attribute. Okay. And then we don't need to, I guess we still need to specify that there. Okay. All right, I think that might be the difference, is I didn't reset it to null every frame. No? Nope, that wasn't it. Now I keep adding more. All right, that wasn't it. Let's see, any other differences? So I say object equals that, and new object equals that. And that's pretty much the same. Do I need that? I do. New attribute. Okay, and then if it's not null, then do this. If it's not null, then do this, which is just the add, which is the same thing. And that should be that. And I don't do anything else in that. So strange. Nope. Gosh darn it. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but it's kind of frustrating that it's acting differently. And I can't figure out why. Why is this not grayed out and this one is grayed out? Oh, what's this? Oh, because here there's a chance it will be null. And here there's no chance it will be null because it's always going to be this, which could be null. I see. That's why it's not grayed out. Okay, so if it's not null, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Okay. Move on. Because I have no idea. It's a quirk of the universe, I suppose. All right, so now we need to make this prettier. All we really need is X's next to it to remove them. So we're going to do start row and end row, and then we're going to have a if. Well, first we're going to say background color red, and then we will do a reset color, and then if button symbol X, and this is going to be a width of 25. Then we are going to say item object dot starting item attribute dot remove, and remove the attribute, and then exit GUI. Otherwise we get a little error in the GUI because we've removed something and didn't exit. It basically says stop drawing this frame, and then it will draw again next frame. So now we got these, and we can delete them. Can I undo? Good. Undo is working automatically for this one, so that's nice. We can add a count up there. I don't think it's that important, but why not? So we're going to do a label, and then count is item object dot starting item attributes dot count, and we'll put these in parentheses. All right. Maybe this shouldn't be gray then, because it's more important now. Types, and so we'll just make this a regular label. All right. So now we have the ability to add starring things. So we could say starring, this is going to be rare. Whereas long spear is going to be common. And then if we copy this, we now need to do paste. We should also have a show and hide for these, I suppose. Show and hide button, because I don't want to have to keep doing this. I just want to be able to click. So let's do that, and then I'll do the paste. So allowed, draw allowed attributes, show header, and then we're going to put on our, it's going to be on the item object in the inspector stuff here. Hide this in the inspector public bool, show allowed header or allowed attributes equals true, and we're going to do one for the show starting attributes equals true. Then back here we're going to say in our label, in our start row, we're going to say what are we going to say? We're going to do the if button symbol dash, we're going to change this in a second, but dash width of 25, then item object dot show allowed attributes equals not item object dot show allowed attributes, just toggle that. And it's not going to be symbol dash, it's going to be if item object dot show allowed attributes, then it will be symbol dot circle bullet, no, symbol bullet closed, and then otherwise symbol dash 25. And usually I make these green, but not always. Let's see what it looks like first. Okay. What do I actually do usually? I think this needs to be standardized. Go to File. We are going to do game module utilities. No, what are we already using? We are already using editor utilities. Yes. So we're going to do this in editor utilities closed. All right. So instead of doing this here, we're going to say toggle button with that. And toggle button is going to be in here. Toggle. Button toggle. Shit, do I already do this? I freaking already did it, it looks like. Button open close. That's good though, right? Let's see if that's string key, bool value. What are we doing? Oh, and we're using editor pref, so we don't even need to do that. My gosh. Button close. What are we looking for? Key is show item, show allowed attributes. Bool is, value is, what are we going to pass in here? The current value. Let's look at other usages of it. Oh. I think we can modify this to be this. We can't? Ah. Oh, that's a current value. Shoot. Bool grab from key, grab value from key equals true or equals false, we'll say. So if grab value from key, then we're going to say value equals get bool key. I think this should just be true. But since I'm already using it, well, I'm only using it in 4 places. Do I ever, is there ever a need? I'm going to say true. We're going to say true and just see what happens. Okay, and then here, do that. Default that. And then button open closed. And we're going to make a public or private string key allowed is going to return this. So, all right, key allowed. There we go. See what happens. I often make myself a helper button or a helper code and then forget entirely about it. All right, so now button open closed works just fine, and I'm going to look at this other one real quick. Quest reward drawer, blackboard editor, quest condition drawer editor. I think those don't. Yeah, this is fine. This is, it's fine. It should work fine. And if I find the bug, I'll fix it. But this should be fine. So button open, close that. And now for the header, we can then say if not get bool for that key allowed, then we will say something in the return. We're going to have to close out this. So close the vertical box if we aren't showing it. There we go. So now it collapses just fine. Look at that. Now let's do it to this one. And it's going to be the same for all of them. So if you collapse it on one, you collapse it on all. Hopefully that's okay. All right, starting item attributes, we need to do the same thing. Starting item attributes, same thing. So we're going to do, what was it? Button open close, button open close, key starting, and key starting. I'm going to move both of these up here. starting. And then up here, similar thing. If not get bool key starting, then we will end a vertical box and return to sender. Address unknown. Good. That's better. All right. Now we can get to this copy paste junk. Long spear is common. We're going to copy it. We're going to go mage staff. Paste it. Oh, redo. Okay, let's redo. And so I actually want more options for pasting, because there's add, and there's append. So there's copy or paste and append really are the two. So paste or redo is what we're looking for. Okay, so paste this. And append is the other one. So copy can be made smaller, maybe 50. Append, we can make that 120 or that, and then we're going to do an append as well. Append. Let's see if that works. I can put both of these in the same here too. I guess it could be underneath. Yeah. All right, let's do a few things. First, I'm going to take this, delete that, put this right here, and then we're going to put all of these in its own little thing. Private void show copy paste starting attributes, item object. Okay, and then instead of putting this in the header, we're going to put it underneath this part, underneath the message box maybe. Spaces here too. Okay, and we'll fix this up now. So we're going to make it a start after the color. We're going to do start vertical box, and then at the end we're going to do end vertical box. And then we're going to do a label. We're going to do copy paste with a symbol info and then a tooltip that says copy and paste values from other item objects. Paste will replace the entire list, while append will only add what is not in this list already without removing other values. All right. And then we're going to do a start row, put them all on one row, and an end row. Always have to end the rows. So we've got the stuff there. We'll make this a width of 70. I don't know if that'll work, but it might. And then we'll do copy, and that's, we set the string. All right, and then let's just see what it looks like first. Okay, copy paste, paste. Okay, and then, yeah, that should work. So if we are pasting it, then we're going to say item object dot starting item attributes.clear. And then for each, let's see, we have to get string. Let me see what, oh, I do it right here. We can update this. So this is saying copy item attribute selections. Oh, interesting. I put that there. And this is getting that. So we're going to say item or object by game module object. Module object dot not objects. What's the singular for this one? I just added it. It's a new way of grabbing them in the game modules utilities, and it's going to be a get let's see, game module objects, not objects, singular game module object of type do we not have, did I not make a singular one? Huh, I guess not. All right, let's just do that real quick then. Public static t game module object t will recompute equals false, where t is a module scriptable object. All right, what are we doing with recompute here? All right. So we save the type because we use it here, and then if it has that, then return that, but we're not getting it from the dictionary. So if we don't have it, then return default. Otherwise, we're going to I think this should work. Game modules objects that try get value. There's a dictionary, right? Yeah. Thinking. Dictionary is a string and the list of objects. So dot first or default. We didn't choose an object. That's going to be important. String UID x.uid d equals UID, and return that. Okay, I think no, as t. Okay. And not recompute. What do we do if we recompute? Shoot. Oh, so this is just saying, hey, if you're not recompute, grab it from the dictionary. Okay, so that's why we did it like this. I see. So if we found it and we're doing the recompute, otherwise we need to find it from the rest. Let's see. I'm just going to copy this and just go down the list here. Okay, so otherwise we go through the GUIDs, find all of type of that type. For each one, we're going to say if the UID matches, then we'll return. So load the object. So we're going to say var found object equals that, and if found object dot UID is not equal UID, then continue. Actually, no. If it does equal it, then return found object. Otherwise, we do return default. All right. So we can say link expression. That's a long link expression. Do I want it to be that long? Yeah, actually, I like that one. All right, so it's doing select that first or default. Yeah, all right, that works. So we don't need all objects anymore, and we don't need I anymore. So find the object by UID based on the type T. All right, so now if we can get a single game module object here. So paste that. So our game module object UID of, we are using name. So let me go back here. By name, string name, and instead of looking for the UID, we're going to say found object dot object name is that, and here as well, object name is that. Okay. So by name, I am object of the type or of the name this one. All right. So now we're going to say copy item attribute selections of that item attribute of this item object. Okay. And so we'll do something similar down here. Append. Okay. So starting attributes. Okay. Copy item attribute selections. Let's just go find that real quick and make a copy of it. And copy item attribute selections, starting attributes, and we will say, well, let's just see what happens here. So what is all this? I don't know. So this is going to be copy. So we're going to say bool append equals false. So if not appending, then starting item clear, and then for each var attribute in copy item object dot starting item attributes. We will say if append and starting item attributes contains attribute.uid, or just attribute will work too, then continue. Otherwise, starting item attribute to add attribute. And that should be it. And this can be modified into a link as well. I don't like doing that. I prefer this method there. So that should be good. We're going to clear it if we're not appending it. And then for each one, if we are appending and we already have it, we're going to do nothing. Otherwise, we're just going to add it. And this is convoluted. Why is, oh, because here we're doing the types as well. All right, let me circle back to that. So append, all right. So if we do button copy, if we do paste, then we're going to do that. And if we do append, we're going to do that, but set this value to true because we are appending. All right, let's test this out before we move on. How exciting, right? Starting item attributes. So long spear, we're going to have common, and we will have I don't know. I'm just going to add a few things. Oh yeah, it's doing this. That's so annoying. All right, we're going to copy this now, and then here we will paste it. All right, common flaming elf. Now we will add something else. Oh, we have to make another adjustment. We're going to say this is rare, and this is going to demonstrate why. Now we're going to do append, and oops, we have rare and common. That's not good. So we need to ensure that there's only one type, or make that an option. All right, and probably an option. Yeah, okay. Otherwise, if we have like, I don't know, icy, and then we append, we're going to get the new ones, but keep icy. But pasting will replace. Okay, so that's all working. We need to add the other option here. What would be the term to use? It would be like appending, but so I'm going to actually change a little bit of this too. This is getting too long with this whole this. So we're going to say copy paste. And that and we will then say if, okay, yeah, if yeah, has key, then we do all this. And so instead of putting these here, we will say paste, append, and append one per object type, and we will make another adjustment here. The append, whoops, one per per object type option will ensure that only one item attribute per type is appended as an example for a type of rarity. If the item object already has rare, then another one called common will not be appended. All right, hopefully that's clear enough. And we're going to call this true, and we're going to add that here, and it's going to be bool 1 per type equals false by default. And so now in our thing here, if we're appending and we already have it, then we do nothing. If appending, or guess it doesn't really matter if we're appending or not. So because I don't see the value in it, but there could be a world where we copy and we just scrub everything that's not. So it doesn't really matter. So if 1 per type and starting attribute dot contains dot first or default, we're gonna have to do this x dot object type equals. Oh, interesting. Oh yeah, attribute dot object type is not equal to null. Continue. Okay, so if we are keeping to 1 per type and the list already has an object of this type, continue. If we are appending and the list already contains this, continue. Otherwise, we add the list. All right, that should do the trick. Let's find out. So long spear, we're going to say it has common, and this one has, we're going to say rare. So now if we append, let me fix the UI here. Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. We're going to end row. Long spear, put a space there. Actually, we're just going to do the start row down here, because if there's only one thing on a row, you don't have to start a row. It's only when you have multiple things on a row that you have to start a row. Okay, so now copy, paste, long, paste, append 1 per object. That is needing to be longer, so we'll say 150, and these can be made smaller now. I don't know how small. Maybe those small. And this needs to be even bigger. Let it reload before I save again. Okay, these can be made even smaller. We'll say 60, 80, and 200. All right, and do we need a small gap between these two label? And maybe 50 wide, just a gap. I think it might be nice to have a small gap. Ooh, I guess that's not a small gap. All right, that should be good. Copy, paste, append, and append 1 per type. So now when we append 1 per type, we should not get the common type there. Perfect, so we got elf flaming, so only flaming was added. But if we append, then we'll get common, and if we paste, it will just replace it entirely, and undo still works. Perfect, 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 perfect. So now we need to do the same up here for these allowed item attributes. one per type is not going to be used here. It's just going to be either copy or append. Yep. Okay, so we're going to do that under the draw starting attributes, under the, where did we put this one? Under the message box? Yeah. All right. Under the message box, show the types, and we don't need 2 spaces. Show copy paste allowed attributes. Okay. And we will just copy this for now. And then we will say paste. Okay, so this is what we are moving. Header, copy paste allowed attributes. Okay, and so now copy paste. Tooltip is going to be copy and paste or append the allowed item attributes from another object. Copy will replace the values entirely, while append will add any true values while ignoring existing true values, while keeping existing true values. All right. And so we have copy, paste is going to do this, and this. And we don't need to do this on this one. We do need to add that there. We can now then delete this and then go here and add in our, nope, wrong one. I'll go here and add in our, copy. Okay, good. Yeah, that's, I was looking at the wrong method. Bool append equals false. All right, so this is currently working. I don't know what these are, so I'll delete this, but I think I'm going to redo it. I can make it better. And I think I will have a little bit more coffee. I tend to leave like 1/2 centimeter of coffee in the bottom of the cup, and then I forget about it, and then that part gets really cold, and it's gross. That's not that hot. Oh well, whatever. All right. You know, I got a coffee cup made, a custom one with Magic Pig Games on it, and it looks cool, but the cup is a cheap cup. It's slightly smaller than most coffee cups, and it's thinner, so it gets colder faster. Like, it's obvious they got the cheapest cup they could, and that annoys me. I also got a Magic Pig Games hoodie made, similar to the game dev ones that Wyman has, which I like wearing, but I got the wrong size. I should have looked at the size of the one I have, because it's the exact same thing, just with a different logo. I'm going to give it to my nephew. But it's okay. They couldn't actually make the pig look right. Their colors of the stitching don't match, so it kind of looks kind of ugly. But it's definitely too small for me. Anyways, what are we doing here? All right, show item attributes. We can ignore that. All the showing is just showing, which we're doing it differently now, so that's not that. So we need to first do the okay. Yeah, we'll do something differently here. So if we are not appending, then that is going to be clear. Nope. Available item attribute and types will both be cleared. And then what we're going to do is for each var attribute in available attributes, similar to down here, if it already contains it, will let's see. Yeah. So if append and available item attributes that contains the attribute, then we'll continue. Nothing to be done. Nothing to do to be done with the object types, because if it contains the object, it also contains the object type that is required. Otherwise, we're going to add this. So we'll just add it. And also, if available item attribute types dot contains attribute dot object type, then continue. Otherwise, available object types dot add attribute dot object type. And then the rest doesn't work. So it doesn't matter. So this is cleaner. Let's see if it works. All right, so it doesn't. Did I not update the UX? What's going on? Allowed. Did it just not save? It just didn't save. That was all. It just didn't save. No big deal. All right. So copy this. We'll go down to sword. Let's just clear these out. So we'll say paste. Seems to work. Paste. Seems to work. Paste. Seems to work. Okay. And now append. Let's say if we have gender and we paste, it removes it. If we just turn these off and then say, oh no, we're just going to append it. Perfect. So that means now if we copy long spear and we say that long spear can have all of the prefixes and suffixes, it can also have any of the rarities. And then we want to copy this. For these ones, if we already have this setting, like maybe we don't want the mage staff to be flaming, then we'll just say append. Oh. Oh, interesting. So append will only do true. We'll add all the trues. It doesn't respect the selected falses. Is there a way to easily logically do that? I mean, I could. No, not really, because if as an example, let's undo. If I say, okay, mage staff can never be flaming, and I want to append rarity, I mean, I could do an append only on these. So, ooh, that's an interesting idea. And it lends itself. It's got the space. Let's do that. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay. So follow me here, and we're going to look for item attribute types. All right. So here is this list. And then for each one, we've got this list. So we're going to look at our background color, content color. Okay. So we're going to start row. And down here, we'll do end row. And we will say copy paste is going to be, so show item attribute types. So if we have the key, then we're going to do something. Show item attribute types. If we have the key, then we'll show the copy paste. So we will do a background color, color.yellow, and reset color. And then we will do a if button paste. And this is going to be, I don't know what we did earlier, 60. And append 80. So let's just see what that looks like first, and then we'll add the logic inside the button click. I like it. I like it a lot. All right. So now we'll have to add a new flag to this. Find another paste. So we're not going to do this. We're going to add a flag here, and the flag is going to be we're going to add a string here. String object type. Nope, can't do that. Item attribute type equals that. And then here we're going to have some errors because we need to put right here that. Can that be null? It can be. All right, good. Let's just do that then instead. Null. And then okay, so now we're gonna have to do another thing. We're not gonna clear if if this is not null. So we're gonna do that if we're not appending and item attribute type equals null, then we'll just clear it all. Otherwise, if not appending and not item attribute equals null, then it does not equal null, then we will do for each var attribute in available item attributes if attribute dot object type equals item attribute type, then remove. Ooh, we gotta make this a for loop, and make it a reverse for loop. Continue. I think. Okay, make it a reverse for loop. Okay, so we're gonna go backwards so that we can actually remove things without causing an error. So for each one, if the attribute object type equals that, then we're going to, so if it doesn't equal that, we'll continue. Otherwise, we will say available item attributes dot remove at and put in the index there, and then we will also say this dot remove. It doesn't really matter, but item attribute type, or just remove that. Okay, remove that, and so we could nest this in that, but I don't think we really. We can do a switch. Nah. That's fine there. So handle clearing when item attribute type is not provided. Clear all. Handle clearing when item attribute type is provided. Only clear that type. Okay. And then so we're going to skip over ones that aren't of this type if it's not null. So if item attribute type is not equal to null and attribute dot object type does not equal item attribute type, then continue. Otherwise, we will, if we have a provided item attribute type and this isn't of that type, then continue. And then if we already have it and we are appending, then continue. Really, this doesn't matter, I don't think. Otherwise, we add and then handle the types list. All right. I believe that will work. Let's find out. So again, we're going to try pasting and appending the rarity. So pasting rarity does not work. Oh, did I not update the thing? I may not have updated the call here. Yes, I did not. So this is on all of them. And this is on the other one. So this is where we need to put in var copy object equals that. And so we'll say copy object and copy object to object type. No. Item attribute type. Yeah. And for appending, we say true. Okay. Let's see if that works now. And you know what? Let's do this. Public item object copy object is equal to that. See what I did there? So now we can remove this. Let's just take this and throw it all the way up here. And then find all uses of this down here and just change these to be copy object. Ah, that's cleaner. That's nice. So much nicer, right? Does that make you happy? It makes me happy. Ah, that's easier to read. Okay. Small improvements. So if we paste, okay, it works. And if we append, it works. So now to test the appendation, let's see. Let's say that none of these have that, and that this one doesn't has those two. Then when we append the suffix, we just get the 2. If we paste the suffix, it's the same thing. But let's say we don't have those. Now we append. I see. So it's going to add the ones that are true. There's no way of being like, let me add only a couple. But this is definitely better than doing the whole thing. So now you can just append the basic stuff. All right, but we're going to paste. So now all of these can be just pasted. So if you add a new thing, like, oh, we add rarity, so now I can just paste all of those. Oops. But we want these as well. So copy, paste, 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 paste. All right. And then if we turn this off, this one still gets here, so we can paste those. And that is perfect. So for this, we want them to just start off as common. Copy, paste, 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 and Master Sword is rare. All right, so now let us see in the game if these work. This is the good test. No, Tech Dave. Stretching first. No, after this one's done, I'm going to clean up the code, clean up the docs. Now I've got a musical song in my head. Stop fellow. Anyways, I'm going to clean up the docs, get the docs ready. I want to get V4 out because, I feel bad for folks on the Discord who are working on V3, knowing that they're going to have to redo their work. So, although, so V4 is also going to come with a price increase, and it's going to be a brand new version. It's going to be free for anyone who already has it. So if you do buy it now, you'll get it for free. It's not, you can pay the lower price, but it's going to, it's going to be on the new release discount. So it's going to be priced accordingly. So if you buy it now, you're not going to lose money. I don't think. But I want it to be successful on the new release discount. And so maybe I will do the tower defense demo. I want to do a tower defense demo, and I want to do I kind of feel like I want to do some sort of crafting demo to show how you can craft item objects from various things, but I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Why do I have errors, though? Are these errors important? It appears to be important. Why? Players displayable inventory. I think this is not needed. I think this was me trying to solve a bug. I had a very odd bug that I solved, and I don't know why it didn't work in one case and it did in another case. And that frustrates me. I'm in the wrong scene, though, but that's okay. We can just debug start. Let me just quickly... Actually, we're going to just pick up an item, give it to them. We're going to save it, so we've got our save there. And then let's look at the item. Player's inventory long spear attribute list is... look at that. Common. All right, so it worked. So booyah. Check that off the list. Check off the list. Check. All right, now I gotta go pee. I'll be right back. I'm back. Did you miss me? Bet you did. All right. So, Let's see. Should we do which one? One of these. Require attributes optionally affect the object, not the actor, and required attributes. Okay. So the required attributes, which we just, required attributes. Okay. So required attributes. So if it's of fire, then it requires the fire element, or it requires to be rare, or something like that. So that would live probably on these. So like, let's say we say suffixes of fire. Interesting. I'm just thinking about the logic flow, and it's going to be some interesting logic. I think it'll be fine though. So this is where we say name settings, names. We can just call this settings and then make a thing for name and then a thing for what we're about to do. So let's do that. So we will, what are we going to do? We're going to close other tabs here, clean this up. And we will look at our item attribute editor, and then we name settings is going to just be settings for our menu bar options. And then show settings. All right, so what's our show settings header? We have one? We don't. Okay. Show settings body is now going to be show name settings. And all right. So we are going to do our what was it called again? It was called the button open close for our key is going to be item attribute name settings. And then if not get bool, we'll put these up here, the keys up here. So private string key name settings is going to be this. So key name settings. If we don't have key name settings, then we will return. No, we will return an end row because we're going to do a start row up here and start with the button open close for name settings. And then we're going to do a label big for name options. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, I think I have a logical error. That's probably why this is grayed out. If why is this always null? Oh. No. Why would that be? Oh. Duh. Button open closed. Key allow. Key allowed. Not get bool and vertical box and return. That's the same logic. Oh, there we go. But also what? Name options. Oh, maybe it didn't load the save. I don't know. What is going on? Okay. This is odd. Name options. Name options. Name options. There we go. Okay. Show name header and end row. I think that is the issue here, is I did that. And then we're going to do a new one. Private void show name. Name options. This, and in this we're just going to say if we don't do anything, then return. Hello, Midnight Oil Software. How are you today? All right. It is not showing it though. Why did I guess the wrong here? If we're not getting true, then we return. Otherwise, we should do stuff. Oh, I know, because we never actually call it up here. Show name options. There we are. All right, so now we can open and close that. Okay, and underneath that, oh, this still says name settings. Why? Name settings. Interesting. Menu bar options. StatFX dictionaries. Huh. Why is it? Oh, that was weird. It never updated it in that. I don't know. Working now. Guess that's all that matters, I suppose, in a way. I don't know. All right. So what were we doing? Oh yeah, required attributes. I just thought of a thing we need to fix on these other ones. So what happens when we have our long spear? We have all these things here. We have a test one. Test one is test 3. What happens when we delete test 3? Oh, it goes away. Okay. What happens if we create a new one? Test 4 or test 4. And then we go here and we add it to our test set. We add it there. If we then delete it, it's still there. So we need We need to be smart about this. Is what we need. Okay. Create game modules, create item attribute, test 4. And now on the go to file, item attribute. Private void on destroy debug.log destroyed. Let's see if this is where we're gonna put this. Delete. Nope. On disable on. What's the code for in the editor on destroy? Chat.openai, do us a favor. Let me verify that I'm a human. All right. In Unity C# editor scripts for a custom scriptable object, what is the code to call when the object is deleted from the project? Asset modification what? I did not know about this. Is there similar code in the scriptable object code itself that can run when the object is deleted? Because that's what I'm really looking for, similar to on destroy. No? Okay. So I guess I can create something similar to this. What does options have to do here? All right, let's do that. Let's try this out then, because I think this is the way to do it. When I delete, I should just know, oh, this thing got deleted, so all these other things have to happen. So let's try that. We're going to go back to here. We're going to go to, this is going to be part of the game modules itself. Is it an editor script? Is required to be in the editor folder as an editor script, or is it not? Yes, okay. That's what I thought, but I wanted to check. So we're going to create a new script, and we're going to call this game modules asset modification processor. And this is going to be a namespace infinity.gameModule.modules. We'll put this up here, and it inherits from asset modification processor, so they say. And we need to bring this in. All right, and then it's telling us, the machine, the AI, the terminator is telling us public static asset delete result on will delete asset string asset path and remove asset options and then we're going to say if asset database dot load asset at path game modules object. Oh, I am game modules object. Is that going to work? Asset path. It's not equal to null. Yeah, it's not equal to null. Then do something. Really, game modules object, or is it modules object? Modules scriptable object. That's it. So if it's module scriptable object, do not otherwise return asset delete result did not delete. Is called automatically. Okay. So then we really need to say if it's a item attribute, we'll just do something for delete item attribute is that too much? Doing it twice? Or should we say var object equals that, and then if object is item attribute, no, object, or if type of object okay. If object equals null, return asset did not delete. So basically, if it's an object thing, then we're going to delete it. But if it's an object that is an item attribute type, then we'll delete an item attribute type. And debug.log deleting attribute and item attribute. We'll just say object for this. Object name. All right, let's test this out. This is neat code. All right. Item attributes. Test. Duplicate. Create new ID. Oh no, I'm going to delete it. Ooh. All right. running delete actions for that. So now one of the things we're going to do is going to do remove this from all starting item attributes for item objects. So for each, and we're going to need to do using static infinity modules.object game modules utilities for each of our item object in game modules objects of type item object. For each one of those, what are we going to do? We're going to say item object dot starting item attributes dot remove object. All right, so this is nice. I like this. I might have to add more stuff to this. So we're going to duplicate that, create a new ID. We have test 1 now. We're going to go to our weapon, our long spear, and say, oh, it most definitely starts with test 1. And then we're going to go test 1 and delete it. And see our write and delete actions for test 1. Go back to our weapon, long spear, and it's gone. Boo and ya. Double up, double up. And the reason why I wanted to do that is because when we do the required attributes, it's going to have to be removed from this one as well. All right, so now we can go back to the attributes. We'll do what we were doing first. Go to our suffix. We're going to say of fire, name options. Okay, go back to item attribute here, name options, show name header, name options. All right, we're going to duplicate this one and we're going to do a show requisite header. Is requisite too uncommon of a word? Required? I like the word requisite, so I'm going to use it. Show settings. Show. Oh yeah. So. This is going to be name settings. I think I'm doing this slightly differently than I did the other one, but that's okay. Requisite settings. Show requisite header, and then requisite options, and we're going to do something similar down here. Private void show requisite options. Oops, too much. Copy pasted too much. Key name settings, key requisite settings. Requisite. Good word. Requisite. My barber works at the Requisite Barber in San Francisco. All right, so name requisite, requisite attributes. And I have here an optionally remove others of that type when they're added. Okay, so I'm going to move this over here so I can see it, but you don't have to stare at it. We need a space between those. All right, requisite header, requisite attributes, requisite options. So we're going to do label, bold, label required attributes, and yeah, we'll do a symbol.info. Whoops, symbol.info. And there's gonna be tooltip. Okay. So tooltip is going to be when this item attribute is added to a list or a game item attribute list, the other item attributes added here will also be added if they are not already present. Example, an attribute laser gun, or let's say crystal or diamond, may require the attribute rare. Okay, and then bold, so true. We want this to be bold. And later we're going to do disallowed attributes. How does disallowed attributes works? If we try to add okay, so in this example where icy and of fire, and I say this object, no object can ever be icy and of fire. It can't be both. So if I add of fire, should that remove icy? Or if it's already icy, it just means I can't add of fire. I think that one. Like, if it is icy, it cannot be of fire. So the idea would be that when an item attribute is added, if it already is something on the disallowed list, then it won't be added. Yeah. So we're going to call this incompatible attributes. Okay. When this item attribute is added to an item object, no, it's when it to a game item object list, game item attribute list. If one of the item attributes here is already present, then this will not be added. I guess I could probably add code on the add function to optionally override and remove the other one instead. But that'll be something I can add later. I don't think we need to do that now. And thank you for the feedback, both of you. I appreciate it. Always nice to be validated. All three of you. Hi, Corey. How are you? All right. So when this item is added to a list, if one of the items here is already present, this will not be added. Example, icy and of fire could be incompatible in your project. So the other question then I suppose is, if I add, this is of fire, if I add icy, maybe it's just an optional thing. Yeah, I guess if it's incompatible with one, it has to be incompatible with the other. So they both need to be incompatible. So if I add it here, the other one's going to automatically get it. Yeah. That makes sense. Interesting. So what happens? Okay, yeah. I think this is fine. We'll work it out. If there's any logical issues, we'll work that out. Prevents accidentally clicking on the wrong one, removing the one you do want. Yeah, yeah. I think I get what you're saying. Uh-oh. There we go. Okay, so required attributes. Let's do that one first. So we're going to do show required attributes. And then underneath this one, we'll do show incompatible attributes. We'll do both of these while we're thinking about it. Okay. Show required ones first. So for this, we're going to have a list on the item attribute of required attributes. So we'll do that here. Public list item attribute required attributes. New list item attribute. And this is going to be lowercase r. And while we're here, incompatible attributes. All right. And then, so for each var attribute in item attribute dot required, where are we at? What are we using? What's our? Oh, it's just gonna be like target or modules object. That's why I changed this the other night. Modules object dot required attributes. We're just going to say label. Whoops. We're just gonna spit it out for now. Attribute dot object name, and we'll then do the add, and we're gonna do similar to the other. We're gonna do space color or background color dot color dot yellow, and then reset color, and we're gonna actually put this here. So we're gonna do private item attribute, item attribute select field. Ooh, return null. Ooh, I have a thought. Go to file. Okay, we'll do it here and then I'll think again. All right, so we're gonna do this background color and a reset color, and then var new object equals item attribute equals null, and we're going to be returning new object, and yeah, I know it's always null. New object equals object, new object, type of item attribute, I got this wrong. Item attribute, false. What am I missing here? As item attribute. And return new item. So now we can do this. But var new object equals that, and if new object does not equal null, then we will add the object there. But we can do better. I'm gonna sneeze. Hold on. There you go. I did it. Just like I said I would. I'm a man of my words. We can do one better because this can be made generic and it can be put in our utilities. So, let's see. It's actually going to be an editor utility, not that. So, we're going to look for our object field. Oh, there it is. And underneath this, we're going to put our object selector code. And so we'll do public static t object select field t and t new object. But we are going to say where t is module's scriptable object to force that we know it can be null and other things. Let me get rid of that search. So t null new object is null object type of t as t and return that. So now when we go back over here to our script, we can remove this and we can say object select field type of item attribute and get that. So what we can really do is say if that does not equal null, well, I guess we're gonna have to save it. So yeah, so new object, and if new object is not equal null, then the if modules dot required attribute dot contains new object. If it doesn't contain the new object, then we will add it. Modules object dot required. Ooh, I'm thinking my brain's on fire now. Add dot required attribute dot add new object. That's the basic thing, but I was just thinking extension methods, module extension methods. Do we not have, what did I call it? Infinity extensions. So we can do, let's see, add if not, add if not contains, if does not contain. And it's a, well, we can do a bool, we can return. So we're going to say add if not contains, if list dot contains t item, then return false. Otherwise, list dot add item and return true. So now, haha, cool. I like this. This is fun. We can say if we have a new object, we can say modules dot required attributes dot add if does not contain new object and be done with it. Ooh, I'm gonna have to update the other code now. We could now this returns a bool, so if we want to do something, if it didn't get added, we could put debug. Oh, it already contains it, or something like that. Wow, I like this. Look at that. That's only 3 lines now. Let's see if it works. Did I do everything that needs to be done? What were we looking at? We were looking at item attributes, suffix. Oh, nope. Suffix of fire. Alright, let's clean this up because I didn't do everything here I need to do. Start row. End row. We don't need to worry about the color. We can do this outside of the row. So this is going to be label, add, new, add. Yeah, we'll just make this 50. And then this doesn't have to be that long either. Oh, object select field. We'll need an optional int width equals 150. We'll just set that to be default to 150, but we can always change it, choose a different value if we wanted to. Oh, but we need to add that here now too. Width and false. I guess we need to add that as an option too. Bool allow scene objects equals false, and we'll just put that in there too. Ah, man, I guess we should also do nah, I was gonna do a different color, but no, I'm not gonna do that. All right, so we can now add I'm gonna make a version of this that's a whole box with the object select box, and with this we're going to need a string label, which is not null, and then if you guess what I'm doing here, I'm going to take all of this and put it here, and this is going to be the label. And we're going to do int label width equals 50. Should make that a little bigger. And new object equals that. Object select field, and we're going to need to pass in our width and allow scene objects, and then return T. There we go. So now we can just say object select box of item attribute, and we'll pass in our add and our 50, and we will say new object equals that, and now it's even smaller. And could we even then say, if that doesn't equal, no, because we need to cache the object. Okay, so we can't do that. All right. All right. But I'm gonna modify on. I've got another idea too. Just going deeper. So this is start vertical box, and we're gonna end vertical box and reset color, And color dot background or background color, color dot yellow. Okay, so now we have the add. I chuckled because I thought, well, I could just pass in this list and say, basically, this list, give me a box and add if it doesn't exist. So add to this list if it doesn't exist. And I'm gonna play with this because would this work? Would this work? So it would be similar to that. It would be display box, display object select box, and add if does not contain. Let's try this. Let's just see. This might be too deep. Display object select box and add. Nah, this is too deep. I think it might work, but that's just silly. It's getting to the point where it's just silly. All right, let's see if it works. It's still got that stupid issue, though, where I have to only do one at a time. I don't know why. Do you think ChatGPT knows? I'm using this code in my code. I allow an object to be selected, and when it is selected, I add it to a list. However, when I select another object without closing the selector box, it isn't added. Do you know why? Let's see if it knows why. It's likely it's creating a new instance of the selection box every time it's called. Huh. I don't think that's the issue, actually. Maybe. Let's see. If select box equals null, then do a new one. New object equals select box at show. If new object does not equal null, let's just see. Private that select box. I don't see. Yeah, what's this going on? What is this? No, I don't. No, I don't mind. It doesn't. I don't. I'm not going down this rabbit hole. This is one I'm not going to go down. All right. So it essentially works, though. So we do need to do a couple things. We need to add the delete button. So start row and end row, and if or background color dot red, and then if, I think I've already done this too. If delete button symbol X. I didn't do one like this already. I didn't. Well, I should. If button symbol X 25, then do something, otherwise nothing, and then reset color, and we can put this into our editor utilities. Delete key. All right, we'll do public static bool delete button, return true, otherwise return false. And then here we can say if delete button, then modules.objects required attributes.remove attribute and exit GUI. Wow, that's easier. See, I add these things and I need to go through all the other things and update it, which makes sense, but I'll forget that I even have it. So that works. That's nice. And then the other thing we need to do is on our modification, we need to remove from all required. So remove this from all, what was it? Required attributes. It's also going to be in the incompatible attributes. So all requisite attributes for other item attributes. For each our item attribute in game modules, objects of type item attribute, item attribute dot incompatible. I'm just gonna remove object, and item attribute dot required attributes dot remove object. So really this is gonna be here, and what we're really doing is that, and then what we're really doing here is this here, and we'll just put that there because we're gonna do handle item objects and item attributes, and I'll just forget the handle there. That should do that. Okay, so required attributes, and we're going to add another bool here because in my notes I have optionally remove others of that type when added. So we're going to do a bool here, so it's going to be left check and it's going to be only remove others of type attribute dot object type, and then symbol info, and we will say if true, when this item attribute is added to a game item attribute list, other the attribute dot object name will be added as well, and any other attribute of type attribute dot object type will be removed. There can be only one Highlander. And then the value is going to be modules object dot oh shoot. Is it supposed to be per line, or is it supposed to be global, as in like each one here can only be of one type, or is it meant to be each one? So you could be only archer, so you could be rarity. It can only be uncommon. You can't be rare otherwise, but you could be archer and flaming and all these other different things. So it should be per line. And we're gonna have to update that then. Okay, let's think how to do this. Probably have to create a new object class, essentially. Okay, I'll remove my joke. We'll add some quotes around these. And we'll make this wider. Okay, so I'm not going to keep a separate list of bools. I think it means we need a class of required attributes that has an attribute and this bool attached to it. So let's quickly create that. So it's going to be, do it at the top. System.serializable and public class required item attribute, and it's going to have a public item attribute and public bool 1 per type equals false or true. We're going to default to true. Okay, I'll move that over here to its own little world. And then on our item attribute then, this is going to be a required item attribute. What is it? Required item attribute. what is it? Did I spell it wrong? Required item attribute. List of required item attribute. Why? Does it have to be of a certain type? Did it just not save? Did not import? I have bugs and that's why? Maybe it didn't import before I started changing things. Okay. Okay, so I got those. No. What am I missing here? I feel like I'm missing something stupid probably. Why can't I make a list of this type? It's basically saying it's fine, I think. I'm just not using the right stuff. Stats. Stat settings. Maybe I just need this. I probably just need to add this or something. Huh. Huh. Huh, huh, huh. See you, Tech Dave. I don't know if there is. I will not be on it. I've got my friend's celebration of life tomorrow, so I will not be there. I actually have to end this stream and drive up there tonight or soon. So, but no, I don't know. I haven't heard. Let me see if if there's any word on the old Discord. No word on the old Discord, so I don't know. Why is this not working though? WTF? Okay, let's do something here. Okay, let's make sure there's no bugs. All right, everything's been commented out. I'm going to go to required this. We're going to remove it. Required item attribute. Required item attribute. And maybe it's because I created it in part of a scriptable object and then it got confused. I don't know. So we're going to remove that and then we're going to create it again. Item objects. Items. scripts create C# script required item attribute. And we will load it up. And I'll just say this, and it's going to be namespace Infinity modules, and we'll put it up here. And it's not a mono behavior. Okay, and now let's see if it works. It does. All right, so that was the issue. I don't know. All right. All right, so now when we're showing it, we're going to be saying for each required attribute in required attributes, var attribute equals required item attribute, and var only one of type equals that only one per type. So we'll just say one per type. All right, so we will then say this name. If the delete button required remove all, and x dot first or default x. Oh yeah, not first or default x item attribute equals attribute. Actually, no, that was fine the way it was. All right, required. So just attribute type, and this is going to be one per type. Value is one per type, and we're going to set that to be this. Equals left check. Okay. And then this required attributes add if our new required attribute equals new required item attribute, where the item attribute equals new object, and this goes here. That okay. We can invert that. And should be good there. And then finally for this, move all, where x dot item attribute equals object. Okay. I think that should work. See ya, Midnight Oil Software. Have a good one. Thanks for hanging out. Where is it? What were we looking at? We were looking at... Oh, it was way up here. Suffixes of fire. Right? Ah, yes, because we removed everything. Okay, so the real use case is going to be rare. We can say it's rare. Whenever it's of fire, it's always rare. And now with this check, that means if we add common, we shouldn't be able to do that because we already have one type of rarity. So we need to do a check there. remove others. And okay. Object select box. So we're going to say can be only one, maybe. If, let's see. So var new type equals new object dot object type. If modules object dot what we're looking at, required attributes dot where or any x dot object type item attribute dot object type equals new type and x dot one per type, then continue or return. So this is basically saying if any of them have the object type and are one per type, then return. So let's see. We'll try to, it's not being saved. Did I not do, I did not. System.serializable, okay. So we're going to add rare, and we're going to add common, and it's not going to be added, but we should put a debug log down here. I think that's fair. Debug.log, and we're going to say could not add item attribute new object name because there is already a item attribute of type new object object type in the list with the only one of type toggle true. See, remove others of type toggle true. Okay. That way people don't get too confused as to why it's not happening. If they're looking at their console, then they'll see, oh, I get it. I get it now. I understand why it's not working. Okay. But if I remove that and we add common, great. Now what happens though if this is true? So now we got them both false. So first, what happens when we add it and we already have one of that type, then we should toggle that off. So so we're going to do if any of them already are that type, then we're going to say new required attribute dot one per type equals false. Basically, if we already have one of this type, then it would be counterintuitive to have that default to true. So let's try that out. Common. All right. And now what happens if we turn this true? If we turn this true, then the other should disappear. right? So in our one per type left check, so we're going to do var temp check equals required attribute dot one per type. And then we're going to say if temp check equals false and required attribute dot one per type equals true. Okay, so we'll do the if not temp check and we are, so if we weren't before and we are now, then we need to remove all the others that aren't this. So for we're going to do modules objects dot remove all x remove dot what's the link for remove all? What is the link code for remove all where x equals x? Remove all. Yeah, I know that. Remove all x dot object type equals attribute dot object type and x not equal to attribute. And how do I force this to be link? Oh, dot required attributes. There we go. Where x dot item attribute dot object type equals attribute and x dot item attribute is not equal to this attribute. All right, there we go. Remove all where that and that. All right, so that means if this is unchecked and we check it, rare gets removed, and then we have to exit GUI. So we don't get this real random error. All right, so we're uncheck that. We're going to add rare, and we're going to add legendary. Those are all of the same type. So now we're going to say, oh, no, I want to remove all the others. Perfect. Undo works. We are good. Nice. All right, I'm going to call this a day. I gotta go. 2-hour drive. Now I get there to hang out and partay. So this is good stuff, though. I did not do at all what I said I was going to do. You know, I did this stuff instead. But it's good stuff, and I'm actually really excited about this addition. The requisite attributes is really cool. I hope it does what the very nice gentleman in the Discord was asking for. I hope it does. Yeah. So that's that. That's that, everybody. I'm going to finish this later. I'm not going to be, I don't think there's going to be any downtime for the next 2 days. But when I get back on Monday, holiday here in the United States and Canada for different reasons. When I get back on Monday night, I'll probably finish this up because the incompatible attributes is also really cool. And and other things like that. So just to test something real quick, let's just quickly add a duplicate of this, and we will then go to our suffix of fire, add test1, and then if we delete test1, then it should be gone. It's gone. And then the other thing is of fire. We don't want that to happen. So let's do one more check. Down here. New object. If new object equals modules object, then return. So if we say of fire, then it does nothing. We can say of ice. So later we're going to have this incompatible attributes. We'll also have to handle what happens if we have, if it's of ice. Yeah, so let me just quickly do this while I'm thinking about it. So if it's that, then it has to be false, or if the required attributes, so if new type dot object type equals new type, then if it's the same type, then we have to return, or it has to be false. So let's remove of ice, and then we'll add another suffix and make sure that works. Of ice. All right. And then we can't turn this on. So in our toggle bit, we're going to say, let's see, okay, required. Okay, so we're going to show show required attribute, and we're going to have a required attribute. And put this down. Oops, undo. And put this down here. Okay, and then in our left check, so we have our delete button, label, temp check, and so we're going to say show required attribute check, required attribute, and we're going to put this down here. Okay, and then we will say if attribute dot object type equals game or modules object to object type, then we will instead do a label gray and object is type we'll do attribute.object name is the same type as game modules or module object name. Okay, and then we'll return. Because you cannot require that there only be one suffix of this type. Yeah, and we'll put these quotes around these just to separate them out. Oh, interesting. We need a what do we need then? Why? We need an end row. Ah. End row. And then we can invert this. There we go. So of ice is the same type as of fire. How about this? We'll make it even more clear. And are both object type module object to object type. And the quotes. Okay. Of ice and of fire, both object type suffix, meaning you cannot have them be removed when they are. Yeah, it just does not make any sense. You can do that. You can't, excuse me, common. You can have that now. So now you can have archer. But if you then do that, then druid goes away. Perfect. All right. We're going to need to do copy paste on those two. So I'm going to write some notes down here. To do required attributes, copy paste, and incompatible, also copy paste. All right, those are my notes. I am going to call this a stream. It's been a stream. It's been a wonderful stream, a very long stream, almost 4 hours long, and I haven't had food yet, but I don't feel hungry. Maybe it's because I had a lot of pizza last night. All right, I will see you later. Thanks for hanging out, everybody.